Hey everyone, Big Pauly back for a new video, yes, and it's time. It's time to count down my top 10 films of 2019. Oh yes, baby. Let's find out what's on the list. Okay, first of all, I just want to shout out a couple of honourable mentions that didn't actually make it on my list. And this was only because there was 10, in my opinion, better films that I liked and enjoyed more than these. Stan and Ollie. What? I can hear you saying now. I loved the film. It's a brilliant film. Great performances from John C. Reilly and Steve Coogan. They were Stan and Ollie. Laurel and Hardy, they pulled it off. Fantastic story about them, you know, their ending years of their relationship together in the business, in the movie business. But yes, brilliant film, and loved it. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Didn't like it as much as the 2014 Gareth Edwards film. I thought that was much better. But it's still good. Had lots of monster on monster action, which is always good. But the thing that I feel lost it in the film was there was no characterization. I lost a connection with the characters. I was expecting a lot more character development. But if you want monster on monster, that's your film. Now, this is going to confuse Jamie. It, Chapter 2. It's not on my top 10 list. Not that that's a bad thing, because I loved it. I thought it was a great film. I think I preferred it part 1 or chapter 1, as it had a much more Goonies Stand By Me feel to it, you know, with the kids. But the adult actors pulled it off fantastic. Some of them were uncannily like the kids. So really good, and enjoyed every minute of it. Chapter 2. Can't wait to get the 4K for that. Toy Story 4. Pixar, not on the top 10. What's going on? I love Pixar, even Cars 2. But Toy Story 4, I loved every minute of. But yeah, didn't quite sneak into top 10, unfortunately. Right, okay, so that's the honourable mentions. Now, this list is open to interpretation. Everybody's list will be different. My list is probably going to confuse a few people, or might surprise a few people. But here we go. Okie dokie. Right, number 10 on my list. Spiderman, Far From Home. Yes, it's a long way. It's a Marvel movie that's a long way down the list. But it's only because there's a lot more better films above it. But I did have a lot of fun with Spider-Man Far From Home. Tom Holland pulled it out again. Absolutely fantastic. I love him as Spider-Man. I love Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was okay as Spider-Man. He was pretty good. So I have no problem with any of the actors that have played Spider-Man. Personally, I prefer Tom Holland. I think his interpretation of Spider-Man is really spot on, and Peter Parker. We have so much fun with it. Sometimes the original Tobey Maguire ones were a little bit too serious, but you can see that Tom's having fun playing this role. Coming off of what happened in Endgame, you know, there's still some fallout, and he's trying to come to terms with the loss of his father figure. But what I liked about Spider-Man Far From Home, when they went on like the European adventure, it kind of reminded me of National Lampoon's European Vacation. And the inclusion of Mysterio as well, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, was fantastic. He was brilliant. I want one of those costumes in here in the cinema room. Yeah, and I love the twist that they did with Mysterio as well. So yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Number 9 on my list is Us from Jordan Peele. And this is the follow-up to Get Out, which I loved. Get Out was a great film. I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't realise I was going to like it that much. It's about a family that have a doppelganger family as well, shadow in them. Um, it's kind of weird because the ending confuses a lot of people, like with rabbits and things like that. But I love the relationship that this family has, and I love the relationship that the doppelganger family has, and how they act to the main family. So it's a good thriller. I like this kind of horror film, not insidious type stuff that jumps in your face. What can I say? Okay, number 8. Anna. Anna? Yes, Anna from Luc Besson. Now, me, Lulu, and Claire only saw this a little while ago, just before Christmas, and we absolutely loved it. It has a atomic blonde, Lucy kind of feel to it, starring Sasha Luss and Luke Evans. It's, about the Russian assassins and that they're raised. It's kind of like Red Sparrow, with Jennifer Lawrence. It's kind of like this is what would have happened to Jennifer Lawrence's character later on down the road. So it's a good assassin film. Really good film. I absolutely loved it. Lots of action. The martial arts in it, the gun, the gun play is on a level with Jon Wick. I am telling you, it's on a level with Jon Wick. I absolutely loved it. So Anna is my number 8. Number 7 is Rocket Man, the biopic of Elton John. And I loved this as well as Bohemian Rhapsody. And I like the way that they interpreted Rocket Man, him growing up from a little boy, and the way that they did it musical style, with different members of the family actually singing the songs. And Taron Egerton was absolutely incredible. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, sometimes he didn't really sound too much like Elton John, but it was a good enough job. It was a good enough job. And he just has the charisma and the movements to actually pull it off, and to be backed by Elton John himself as well. And Elton John was absolutely thrilled with the outcome of the film. So I also liked how it kind of like delved into the grittier side as well that Bohemian Rhapsody didn't. That was mainly focused on the music of Queen. Number 6, Captain Marvel. I love this one. This is kind of weak for a lot of people. It's kind of like down there with Black Panther and Thor Dark World as being the lesser preferred Marvel movies. But I absolutely loved it. Brie Larson is fantastic as Captain Marvel. I must admit, I do prefer her with the long hair, though, as the character, as Carol Danvers and Captain Marvel, rather than the short hair that we saw at the end of Avengers Endgame. But she pulled it out fantastic. Samuel L. Jackson de-aged brilliantly. Loved every minute of that. The action was good. Ben Mendelsohn was really good. 3D on this film was really good. Plus also, of course, Goose. Absolutely love Goose. I hope Goose gets his own Disney Plus series. So anything that's got a ginger pussycat in it, I'm hooked. So you can expect a street cat named Bob to be number 1. Only joking. But yes, absolutely loved Captain Marvel. Number 5, Jon Wick 3. Yes, this was a fantastic action movie. Beautiful visuals, incredible action scenes, martial arts scenes, ridiculous scenes, such as the library scene at the beginning with the book, and the laugh out loud scenes with the horses. I almost wet myself in the cinema. Now, I don't know why I've written down Jock Wick 3. It's my writing. But yes, Lulu and Claire thought this was the weakest film. They didn't really like it because it was too much endless, non-explainable violence. But I think this is the best John Wick of them all, and I'm really looking forward to John Wick 4. Number 4 on my list is Ad Astra with Brad Pitt. This probably won't be in many people's top 10 lists, but I absolutely adored this film. I loved it. It's not one of these fast-paced science fiction space films. You know, it's kind of got like a Stanley Kubrick, like 2001 vibe to it. You know, it's very atmospheric and dialogue heavy. But I love the moon scenes, the action on the moon. I love how they set the future up, and how, you know, Brad's character has to go on a space mission to find his dad, Tommy Lee Jones, that went on an expedition and was last heard of 15 years ago or something. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting Ad Astra on 4K. It's going to look absolutely stunning. But I really loved the film, even the bit with the monkey. Number 3 on my list, another marvellous movie. Can you guess it? Avengers Endgame. Let's go get this son of a bitch. Yes. A lot of people may be surprised that how come this is not further up your list and it's only number 3? Because the two films at the top were, I can't say much more entertaining, because the top 3 are interchangeable. But I preferred the top 2 films over this one. That's just my personal preference. But yeah, Avengers Endgame, I loved, you know, everything with Thanos in it. I love the setup, you know, the time travel, well, you know, the alternate time travel. I love how it has vibes of Back to the Future 2 about it. You know, when they go back and they see their younger selves at specific points in Marvel history that we've seen before, and how they interfere with that timeline. And a bit like, you know, when Marty McFly went back and saw himself playing the guitar on the stage. I love that whole vibe about it. The action scenes at the end were absolutely incredible. It was an emotional movie. It was a stunning film to look at. The soundtrack was incredible. Special effects were fantastic. All of the cast pulled together, absolutely fantastic. I love the mixture of everybody from, like, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy to, you know, Doctor Strange. Everybody that we had from, you know, pretty much Infinity War. And probably if I grow my hair, I might get mistaken for Thor. Anything is possible. But yes, number 3 on my list, and that end scene, the end battle scene, was so emotional, and I just loved every minute of the movie. And especially when the captain said, "Avengers, assemble." Wow, fantastic. So that's Avengers Endgame, my number 3. Number 2 on my list, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. That's probably confused a lot of people even worse now. How the hell is that number 2, you're thinking? I've seen the film twice now. I love the film. The first half hour does take a little bit of time to get going. But once, you know, after like 25 minutes to half hour kicks in, we start to get the action. I actually do think that it was good to bring back the Emperor, and that he's now more powerful than ever. You know, he's had 30 years to build his evilness, his Sithness. Merry Sithmas, everybody. But I love how they set that up, that they had a massive battle at the end. And I love that Poe, Finn and Rey had a lot more screen time together. Plus throw in cameos, you know, from Billy D. Williams. We have Wedge back. And the acting on this film was incredible. Daisy Ridley, absolutely fantastic. Her best performance. John Boyega, everybody did absolutely fantastic. I loved what they did with Carrie Fisher. It all fitted in perfectly, seamlessly. So I had no problem with that. how they wrote around it. Adam Driver, his best performance. But for me, Adam Driver was absolutely fantastic. Probably the highlight of the Rise of Skywalker. The music, the special effects, everything did it for me. Nostalgia, a great end to 3 fantastic films. Yes, I love Last Jedi. That's my preference. So that's my number 2, The Rise of Skywalker. So on to my number 1 movie of 2019. Cats. 1,000 people are on YouTube just had a heart attack. Meow. Yeah, meow, exactly. No, it's not Cats. That would be a joke, wouldn't it? Let's just stick an R on the end, shall we? Joker. What can I say about Joker? What can you say about Joker? Joker had me gripped from start to finish. Every frame of film, I was mesmerised. The look of it, the feel of it, this dirty Gotham, the struggles this guy had trying to become, you know, a comedian, and rejection and mental illness and how society treats people. And it's just a fantastic film. There were a few scenes that just made my jaw drop because I wasn't expecting them. It's kind of like Sixth Sense. You probably know what I'm talking about with his neighbour. I loved how they set that up to be not what you thought was actually happening. But yes, Joaquin Phoenix, absolutely incredible as Arthur Fleck and the Joker. Robert De Niro was really good, but for me, oh my God, Joaquin Phoenix. Apparently there is going to be a Joker 2. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because this kind of can be like a standalone movie. You kind of imagine that this film progresses, and then when it ends with the Joker, you kind of imagine a couple of years later, kind of Heath Ledger's Joker sort of like takes over. That's one way to look at it. And the question is, who is the better Joker? Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix? I actually can't call it, because they are both incredible actors, and they both did a performance of a lifetime. So I really hope Joaquin Phoenix has a possibility of maybe being nominated for an Oscar, because that was one hell of a performance. And I cannot wait to get this on 4K. And I can't wait to watch this film again and be pulled into this dirty, grimy version of Gotham and the struggles and everything. And everything he did, everything Joaquin Phoenix did was absolutely perfect, absolutely spot on. And he just owned it. Just like Heath Ledger owned the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix owned this Joker. So that's my number 1. So there we go. There's my top 10 list of movies for 2019. Some films you might be confused are not on the list, such as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or maybe The Irishman, or anything else. That will only be because I have not actually seen the films. So I can't rate them if I haven't seen them. So I'm just going on what I've seen and what I've enjoyed this year. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my list. Stick down in the comments if you have a different list, what your top 3 are. You don't need to put all the top 10 down. What are your top 3 films of the year? And give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I shall see you on the next video. Bye.